Hey all, Board Game Rants here, where you'll find everything solo tabletop gaming and more. We got Dawn of the Zeds here. We're going to take a look inside, a little unboxing, a little overview, coming right up. Okay, and settling in here. Don't want to unbox this right before going to bed. At least for me, I got a weird thing with zombies, and I would have nightmares. Looking at the back here, this is the third edition of Dawn of the Zeds. The first edition, I believe, was just kind of all solo, and then they reworked it, put out a second edition that had a bit of a slapped-on co-op to it. Still, it wasn't good enough for the publishers, the designers, and I think there was quite a bit. There's a lot of demand for this, especially from the solo community. Here you can see it's pre-printed, Golden Geek 2016 nominee, best solo board game nominee. So I've been looking to pick this up at some point, and third edition has been out for a while. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Sort of a, I don't know, tower defense. You've got this town center that you're trying to perfect or protect, and you've got these trails of zombies coming in at you from four different angles. And I think there's a side B to this map that allows you to play a version with tunnels. So they've got a fifth sneaky way to come in, and if they ever get there, game over kind of thing. And you're basically all your stuff's going to more or less kind of start from town center and work its way out, trying to stop the Zeds, which stands for, I think, Zombie Epidemic Disease, but it's the acronym for it. Anyway, 9 to 20 minutes, 1 to 5 players, 14 plus years of age. There's a little bit of the story if you want to pause and read, but otherwise, let's flip this over and get into it. Okay, got that lid popped up there, and more and more I like to see games. I've got these on the inside sides of the box. You get some fun. This looks like, I'll bet you, this is a lot of the different characters maybe that you can play. And some fun little stats and delicious little flavor text on those guys. Oh, pickles. All right. Okay, brochure stuff. And, okay, I understand there's going to be a few these, because one of the things they really focused on with this edition was creating a game that was just easier for everybody to kind of get into. So a common complaint, I don't know complaint, but a lot of people said that it's a tough game to wrap your head around. And so what they did was they really broke it down into, I don't know, like 7 different stages or something like that. There's a real base game, and then there's like a level 1 and a level 2 and a level 3 and a level 4, level 5. They all kind of feed on each other, and things from the base game. Level 1 adds a few things, and level 2 adds a few things to that, etc., making the game much more approachable in kind of a systematic manner is what I'm trying to say. And I've seen that like with Tricerion, there's a base game, and then there's the more involved game. These heavier games are doing that more. Oh yeah, here it is. Here we go. Basic game, and then level 1, Outbreak. Level 2, Apocalypse. Level 3, Brains. Level 4, Walking Zeds. And then level 5, Director's Cut. And they also, in this one, they have a versus game that they've added to the third edition, and from what I understand too, the co-op version is now very much fleshed out. So so here it is. Yeah, so here's a basic rule book and all of its knickknacks. Good feeling paper here. Good quality stuff. And coming in here at about 19, 20 pages is the basic book. And let's see here. Let's see what else we get. This is a start here. It says to get to know the basic game with that. Then we got the level up book. So this one, I think, just goes over, notching it up, level 1 through 5, and goes into detail on what that adds. Level 1, Now you've got, it just tells you real quick, you know, what are the new ideas? Well, now there's infection, and there's supplies, and there's super Zeds, and disease spreaders, and you can heal. And goes over the rules. And then you've got level 2, the apocalypse. What new ideas are introduced here? There's now chaos markers, and you can build barricades, and now there's going to be villagers and refugees, and there's stuff that happens during the eat phase. There's raiders that can appear. Very nice. So you can really get a sense. You can kind of customize your game. Brains. New ideas. Hospital staff office and laboratory spaces are now accessible. Research. So now you can do some research, try and figure out what's going on and come up with a cure there. I'm thinking walking Zeds, new element introduced, stacking limits, catacombs, tunnels. Yes, I think that's where you flip the board over. So this adds, okay, huge, lots of examples here, and another basic game and level up quick reference chart. So very cool. Kind of just shows you where to go to find your rules. Very nice. And that was, you know, how many pages was that one? 21, 22, 23 pages of that. Then, oh, but there's more. Ooh, this is a thick one. The A to Zeds. Comprehensive rules. So I think this is kind of where you can go. Like if you have questions about that, you know, maybe rather than going to Board Game Geek every single time, you can just come here and you can zero in. It probably has a nice format here of all the rules again, but in detailed and in a formula that, you know, takes into account maybe some exceptions. I don't know exactly, but I can tell you that this thing is pretty darn massive, coming in at, I think I'm halfway there. I'm just gonna zip on back. Design notes. So this is where I learned a little bit about what the first edition versus second edition and third edition. It was pretty cool. Man, 39. Okay, back here. Woo-wee! We got the rules reference and sequence of play order. Very cool. They really put some TLC on this game. Very nice. 43 pages. And then, the Farmingdale dossier. So, more good stuff about particular critters and heroes and items and stuff in here. Not so much rulesy, I guess, so much as just going over what all the different characters and special abilities are, which I guess is rulesy, but holy moly, where are we in on this one? 17, 18, 19 pages of. So you've got some literature here, should you care. And then, oh, there's still more. Now this is a setup, an epilogue book. So you've got, this is going to show you how to set up each, depending on what level you're playing. It's got different setups. So you got definitely a timer deck here. So you just got to make it through this deck that you're going to be building. And that's going to, basically, if you can survive to the end of that deck, is my understanding, is you win. So, I mean, but if you don't survive, if they make it to town center, you lose. So, fairly straightforward, but the game does have some cool depth to it that I'm very much looking forward to getting into, because I am into heavier games. So this is looking delicious. I haven't played a zombie-like game since, let's see here, Zombicide. What's another one? Dead of Winter. That's about it. I can't really think of too many zombie games that I played. All right, let's see if we can flatten out. Let's get this flipped up, looking super cool, and then we'll flatten this out. Nice. We got, here's the board. Well, before I flip that out, let's go ahead and take these out. We've got some punch board here. Yep, nice is good, thick quality stuff here. Got our characters, got our Zeds, got things that are going to tell us all the different stuff that they can tell us. A lot to wrap your head around with this one, but there's you know, there's that punch board. This is nice and thick. More going on here. Barricades. And yep. And then over here we got smaller one. Some healthy looking stuff there. Field med station, civic authority, explosive devices, equip refugees, his own agenda, initiative, emergency broadcast. All sorts of fun. Seems like a very thematic game. And I love that sort of thing too. So we got a jail here. That's kind of interesting. Sort of opens up. Very lighter material here. But probably kill. I think I remember seeing this at the bottom when you flip this over to the B side of this board. Maybe this was added to it because they had to. I don't know exactly. But anyway, there's that. And then, yes, here we go. The player aid. So the combat system is pretty cool in that once you figure out kind of what column you're going to be in when you're doing hand-to-hand or gunfire attack, then you're going to roll 2 dice and read across to that column that you arrived at based on a bunch of different things. You know, how strong you were versus whatever you're fighting, the territory you're on, and all sorts, items that you have and stuff is going to kind of, there's sort of you start with like, okay, it's going to be this column, but because I've got this, I get to bump up 2 spaces, but because of this, I got to bump down 1, but because of this, I get to bump up, whatever. And you'll figure out what column you're in, and the higher the better that you roll is essentially the thing. Once you figure out which column and then you're going to roll, and then you're going to go over and find out, how many hits you did, how many hits the bad guys did, etc. So it's a very cool combat procedure, and, it's a little more involved in that, but I think that's the essence of it. And so we got 4 of these. Yes. Okay. And, or maybe there's more. There's 5 of these. Well, whatever. Around 4, but maybe 5. And let's take a look at this board here. Let me flip this up and over. Okay, there it is. It's not a huge board. We do not have very big hands, and this is nice. This is a nice condensed size. I like it. And here we go. Here's our little track. This is where zombies are going to come in, try to get town center there, and they're going to go maybe on the suburbs track, zoo, or they can come in on the highway track, and then this is the mountain track, and then here is, so yeah, this is where that one thing over there that was thinner had this track on it. I think this is side A, the hospital, town center stuff. And then you got over here, you've got more stuff, but yeah, you can see here it's missing that information. So that would go below here, it looks like, and that's how that would work. So you're gonna need a little bit more room if you're playing like the director's cut or side B side where the tunnels come into play. Let's see what else we got here. We got some dice. Looks like about 6 of them, and we got some bags. Not too many. 4 or 5 bags. Got some standees. Here are some cards. These are bigger cards. Take a look at those here in a sec. Let me draw out the rest of the bunch here, and maybe we'll just take a quick peek at some deets here. Okay, got them all unwrapped here. I think there's only essentially like 4 different types of cards. I think these bigger ones are the hero, like the hero cards. So who you can be. Sheriff Hunt, yeah, Colonel Kingham, blah, 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 lots of information on these cards. Lots of cool looking individual abilities and stuff. So that's and quite a deck too of choices you got there. And then here I think these are event cards. I know that because I've got this. You kind of go from left to right when you activate these. This is where you spend a lot of your time building your event deck, is with certain cards that have these certain symbols, and you mix and match them in certain ways. And so and then you go from left to right depending on the level of game you're playing. Like if you're just playing the basic level, I think you ignore the first 3 things. You move the Zeds, and then you take your number of actions accordingly. Move your Zeds, take your number of actions. But if you're playing on the higher levels, then you're going to have to worry about infections and eatings and 4R. I think that's like Rangers, and I don't know, there's like 4R characters. I can't remember. Anyway, you activate less when you're playing on the basic levels. And so this is probably just a bunch of, yep. End. Ooh. I guess that's where you want to get to. It's time to nut up or shut up. Good fun texts here. Killdozer. Looks like, oh, so this is a fate card. I know there's certain, in the higher levels, you have to draw fate cards depending on, I don't know if it's something you roll or whatnot, but, oh, fate card. Bridge collapses. A man with no name. Out of bed and into the fight. So very cool. Lots of fate cards. And then you got down here, what do we got here? I think these are just some more references for National Guard. Heroes. What else is on the bottom there? Heroic Civilians reference card. So quite a few reference cards here. Refugees, that's the other R. It was Raiders, Refugees, and there's the Raiders. Now I want to know. Rangers, Raiders, Refugees. I don't know what the other R is. Anyway, okay. Oh, and then, yeah, research cards. So there's research cards here, too, that you can get to help you shut things. I'm pretty sure that that's all good for us. Early research, late research. Anyhow, there we go. I think that about goes over everything having to do with Dawn of the Zeds. It's a good-looking game. I'm very excited to get into it. If you care to hear more about what I think about this game as I'm playing it, you might want to tune into my monthly MVP show, Most Voraciously Played. This I'll probably talk about this in, I check out, February of 2020's show. Until next time, I do appreciate you watching. I'm Board Game Rants, and I'm out.